Grade ones, bit of shush please. Our next oral presentation is from Randy Feltface, who will be reading his oral presentation on this year's bicentennial of Australia.
Thank you, it's great to be here, grade ones. How about a hand for everybody's favourite nun, Sister Dimpner? Sister Dimpner's uniform is looking a little scruffy today. I guess it's just one of her bad habits. Apparently, Sister Dimpner walks 20 miles before school every morning. I guess that's why they call her a Roman Catholic. I've got lots of these grade ones. Please get on board. This year is 1988, which is the bicentenary of Australia. Knock, knock. Colonization. Only joking. Colonisers don't knock before they come in. Aboriginal people had lived in Australia for thousands of years before it was discovered by Portuguese sailors in the 1500s. Then it was discovered by Dutch explorers in the 1600s. Then it was discovered by Captain Cook in 1770. I don't know how a place can be discovered if there are already people living there, but I still use Velcro shoelaces, so what would I know? Which reminds me, what is Australian history's most famous ship? Censorship! Cutting edge material for the late 80s. On the 26th of January 1788, Captain Arthur Phillip hosted the first ever barbecue for him and his crew and the 850 criminals he brought with him. We don't celebrate it as a national holiday yet, but those colourful criminals with their rich tapestry of fantastic backstories would go on to be the founders of a surprisingly boring society. Which reminds me, why did the insomniac get sent to the Australian penal colony? They were resisting arrest. I'm only 7, Jesus. Now it is 200 years later. There are 16 million people living in Australia. Bob Hawke is our Prime Minister, and you can buy a 3-bedroom house in Sydney for $90,000. Just let that sink in for a second. To celebrate the bicentennial, Brisbane is hosting Expo 88, which will no doubt be the most interesting thing to happen in Brisbane for the next 200 years. In summary, sovereignty was never ceded, but sausages are on special. Thank you. I'll see you all at the monkey bars after the show. What's the collective noun for bats? Anybody know? Colony. A colony? Cloud. A cloud? A what? A bats. Yeah, let's go with the bats. Just a bats of bats. Yeah, so I saw this huge fucking bats of bats, right? The whole sky full of bats, and then in the middle, just one seagull. Just freaking the fuck out. Just going, too many bats! I think I got on the wrong train. Is this the way to the ocean? I don't speak bat. Can you speak any seagull? It's a good age, 40. I love it. 40's the new 36. Unless, of course, like me, you're single with no children, no mortgage, and no responsibilities whatsoever, then 40's the new 27. Casual sex and psychedelics are wasted on the young. Actually reminds me, this is a good segue. I'm trying to tap into the youths, so I've started my own podcast. Finally, putting out a podcast. People have been asking for ages, Randy, when are you doing a podcast? So I'm doing one. I was going to do one of those ones where comedians talk to other comedians about comedy, but I thought, you know what, that's almost too original. So what I'm doing now is a bit of a self-help kind of podcast. You all want to hear a sample? Yeah. It's called The 40-Year-Old Fuckboy.
40-year-old fuckboy.
Welcome back to The 40-Year-Old Fuckboy. Is it a midlife crisis or a second Saturn return? Who knows? Today on the show, I'm going to be teaching you all how to overcompensate for that pesky childhood trauma by telling a woman you love her on a first date. But first, let's open Randy's fuckboy mailbag.
Randy's fuckboy mailbag.
For people who used to write letters. Today's letter comes to us from Trent from Glebe. Trent writes, I'm a 40-year-old rock climbing yoga instructor with a top knot who always wears loose trousers to really accentuate my dick flopping around. Until recently, my speciality was luring 36-year-old women from my yoga classes to join me for private tantra workshops, but now I can't stop masturbating to trans porn. Should I get a Kelpie? Sounds like you really miss your mum, Trent. You should definitely get a Kelpie. Sheepdogs fucking thrive in the inner city. Coming up after the break on The 40-Year-Old Fuckboy, we're going to be talking to Joe Rogan about the relationship between psychedelic enlightenment and kicking cunts in the head.
40-year-old fuckboy. Is it a midlife crisis or a second Saturn return?
Get it wherever you get your podcasts.
Now, I know what you're thinking, Sydney. You're thinking, Randy, you're a 40-year-old, single, moderately successful comedian with ants in his car. Seriously, I have ants in my car. I don't know what to do about it. They form like their own society in the air vents. As a vegan, I feel bad killing them, but...
What kind of man has ants in his car?
Randy, tell us, what series of fucked up, unfortunate events led for you to turn out like this? Please skip over any major trauma and give us a light-hearted look into your undoubtedly sordid backstory. Well, I tell you what, Zane, if nothing else, that sounds like a great way to kill 47 minutes of this fucking show. So here, for the first time in Sydney town, I'm going to take you all back to where it all began.
Backstory.
I was born on the day Lindy Chamberlain's baby was eaten by a dingo. 'Twas August in the year of our Lord 1980. God Save the Queen was still Australia's national anthem. We were 9 years away from joining the global internet, and "Me too" was a phrase most often used in response to the statement, "I think women belong in the kitchen." My earliest childhood memories are a colourful montage of drunk adults eating corn on the cob while staring into the middle distance. The sound of cockatoos ricocheting off red brick houses. The innocence of youth shrouded in thick clouds of second-hand cigarette smoke. At the tender age of 5, I arrived at St. Mary's Catholic Primary School, where I met my new best friend, Jesus Christ! If you're unfamiliar with his work, he pissed off the wrong people in Israel a couple of thousand years ago. So now we have Christmas and hell. Which, depending on your family, can be the same thing, am I right? I'm doing relatable material to find common ground with my audience. 7, I made my first Holy Communion, where I ate of the body of my new best friend, Jesus Christ, who I'd been reliably informed was brutally murdered because I had been naughty before I was born. You see, only the Catholics laugh at that. Everyone else is like, that can't be right. It is! That's how they get you! Immediately following my first Holy Communion, I had my first menthol cigarette. Menthol cigarettes. There's a burning tube of toothpaste in my lungs and everyone's inverted. Catholicism taught me the difference between right and wrong and left no doubt in my mind that right was boring and wrong was fucking hilarious. My proudest childhood achievement is the fact that I was the first kid in the 100-year history of St. Mary's Catholic Primary School to receive an after-school detention. Literally moments after-school detentions were first introduced. The vice principal, Mr. Burke, he pulled all of the students together for this very stern lecture about discipline and the fact that these after-school detentions would act as a deterrent for disrespectful behaviour. And at the end of his very stern lecture, in the silence that followed, I gave him a slow clap. And he gave me a detention. And once I realised that the dopamine hit attached to being a smartass far outweighed any of the repercussions,
There was no turning back.
I love being on the road. I'm a big fan of it. I have a lot of fun and there's not many downsides, but there is one thing about constantly travelling and staying in different places, one thing that I'm sick of. Do you know what I'm fucking sick of, Brunswick Hat?
What are you sick of?
Thank you very much. Call and response. I am fucking sick of rating my experience. Fuck that. Why can't I just stay somewhere or eat something or travel somewhere without immediately having to fill out some customer survey to reassure the business I've just interacted with like I'm trying to dig a codependent lover out of a post-coital shame spiral? Did you have a nice time? How was it for you? What can we do better? What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? Fuck that! I mean, by all means, provide an avenue for complaint. Like, if I'm unhappy, I'll be the first to write a strongly worded email or perhaps slip a crude drawing into a suggestion box. But if you don't hear from me, just assume everything was fine, our transaction is complete. Fucking back yourself! It's everywhere now. There's touchscreens now at the airports. They feature like a spectrum of emojis. So you press the face that's closest to your own face, having just experienced whatever your face has just experienced. They have them outside the toilets at international airports. Touchscreens! Outside the toilets! Now, just for the moment, let's ignore the fact that that touchscreen is a giant petri dish for literally thousands of stool samples. I still resent having to rate my experience of going to the fucking toilet. Oh, gosh, okay, I've got to do this script. No, guys, I'll catch up. Yeah, no, I'll get the next flight. I just have to do the script. Okay, here we go. Okay, golly gosh. All right, which face most accurately depicts my emotional state, having just taken a shit at the airport? Oh, this is tough. I can't choose between tragically desperate or shamefully humiliated. Oh, bugger it. I'll just go with, I didn't wash my hands. I can't tell if you guys are on board with this or not. Just by round of applause, who here is sick of doing surveys? Who's with me? That was a survey, you fucking idiots! And just surveyed the room. You're like, yeah, we hate surveys. That's how they get you. Stay on your toes, Brunswick heads. pleasure. Thank you. Please take photographs. Thank you. Thank you so much. My comedy actually works best in photographs. Check it out. I could be saying anything. You're all a bunch of fuckheads. I'm going to burn this shithole to the ground and move to the Gold Coast. Never judge a comedian by their photograph, my friends. Unless they're doing this on a billboard. Judge the fuck out of them if they're making those particular creative decisions. But if you want realistic shots of a comedy show, you have to take photos of the audience. That's what I'd prefer to see, to be honest. When I'm home after a gig, doom scrolling in the pitch darkness, just shots of my audience just doing this. This isn't the Queen's Gambit. Oh, you sound like a good crowd. You sound like a real good crowd tonight. Very excited about this. Look at you all, you bloody champions coming out, wearing your masks. Good on you. Bloody love it. Actually, just out of interest, Sid Noon, give me a shout if you've never seen me in real life before. Make some noise.
Fascinating.
Laboratory tests have shown that humans, when meeting another human for the first time, automatically encode 3 key nuggets of information: age, race, gender. So, what the fuck's going on here? Encode this shit, newcomers. I think the 4th nugget of information we encode is, what is wrong with you? You know, like it goes like age, race, gender. What happened to your face? And sometimes people make it too easy for you to judge them. People with Southern Cross tattoos, or people who vape, or people who wear shorts, no socks, sunglasses, and a puffer jacket. You're either hot or you're cold, mate. You can't have both. Always wandering around judging people all of the time. I don't give money to homeless people because they spend it on drugs, she said, washing a Xanax down with a coffee on her way to a Botox appointment. It's a tricky time, my friends. It's a real tricky time. Tricky, judgy time. Living in a real tricky, judgy time right now. Right now, Sydney. Tricky, judgy time. What is it? It's fucking tricky. Tricky, judgy time out there, tricky. It's tricky time. Oh, living in a tricky time. Right now. Right now, it's a tricky time. Oh, Lord, yeah, tricky time. Oh, living in a tricky time right now. Good Lord, yeah. Oh, tricky time. But you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith, the faith. You've got to have faith, the faith. Baby! Any George Michael fans in the house? Strap in for this piece of information. I actually own an autographed copy of George Michael's Faith on cassette tape. How cool is that? How obsolete is that? Can't listen to it, just own it. If I want to listen to it, I'm going to have to go and buy a tape deck and then wind 1.5 meters of tape back into the cassette with a pencil, like we used to do when we wanted to listen to Dire Straits on a road trip with our parents, with all the windows rolled down, because that's what we used to do before air conditioning was invented. On our way to SeaWorld, because that's where we went on holidays before animal rights were invented. Eating ice creams on the way, because that's what we used to do before injecting insulin was invented. It was a different time back then. I'm at that age now where I've started using phrases like, I'm at that age now. And I'm also at that age now where I haven't yet, and I don't believe I ever will, resort to vaping in any shape or form. I'm never gonna vape. I'm not gonna become a fucking vapor. It just feels like a betrayal to all of those sweet, sweet cigarettes that I smoked throughout my life. Like, if you used to smoke cigarettes and now you vape, you're a real piece of shit. You used to be cool, man. Now you're standing there just on some street corner filleting a mini exhaust pipe like Fonzie's shit sibling. You used to be fucking cool. I remember the glory days of smoking. This whole room will have been full of cigarette smoke. We all would have stunk like shit, but we didn't care because we were fucking cool. There would have been ashtrays everywhere. You couldn't move for ashtrays. Now you can't fucking find one anywhere. Spare a thought for the ashtray manufacturers. They're all living in their cars now thanks to you fucking vapors. And it's not just the ashtray people. What about the people that make matches? Spare a thought for the companies that used to print nightclub logos onto those little books of matches so that grizzled old homicide detectives could fish one out of the pocket of a corpse and know where to start looking for the killer. Thousands upon thousands of unsolved homicides just because you fuckers want to vape. Bloody sick of it. Thank you, solitary clapper. Just one person. Yes, I agree, but no one else does, so I'll shut up. George Michael, eh? Where did George go? Someone said to the bathroom, and someone followed up very quickly with, "He's dead." I'm aware of that, but I just want to know, like, where did George go? Where's George? I mean, statistically speaking, around 50% of you believe that George Michael is currently experiencing some variety of afterlife, depending on your religious flavour of choice, of course. Some of you believe he's having a lovely time reunited with his dead relatives. Some of you believe he's awaiting resurrection to face his final judgment. And some of you believe that George Michael's extracurricular activities, such as touching other men's penises with his own penis, for example, will have earned him an eternity as a rotisserie chicken in the kebab shop of damnation. Around 7% of you believe that George Michael is currently making a comeback, possibly as a platypus. Depends on his deeds, really. And the remaining 43% of you either believe that George Michael is slowly fertilising the soil in Highgate Cemetery, or you don't really give a shit either way, or you didn't fill out your 2016 census form. Who didn't fill out their 2016 census form? Come on. Woo! Yes, if you woo! Woo! I didn't fucking woo! Wendy, did you fill out your 2016 census form?
I did indeed.
Oh, you did? Wow! Woo! Woo! Hey, Wendy, what did you tick, if you remember, it was a couple of years ago, but what did you tick for faith or religious beliefs? Just bearing in mind this is a judgment-free environment and everybody else in the room has shared something intimately personal about themselves. Now it's your turn. Wendy.
It's a trap.
What's that, mate?
It's a trap.
It's a trap! No, there's no traps here, my friend. It's just fun times. What's your name? Weapon? Greg? Gregory? We're going to come back to you, Wendy. We just need to address Greg for a moment. Greg? Did you fill out your 2016 census form, Gregory?
Too late.
Too late? What do you mean, mate?
They were very upset with me.
You what happened?
I missed it.
You missed the 2016 census. Where were you, mate? Just punching a fucking cone somewhere. What happened, Greg? Were you over the seas? Where were you, man? Just in Mullen? Just fucking sick. Just off the grid, mate. No, Greg? What would you have ticked for faith or religious belief if you had filled it out? Do you have a faith system?
I'm I'm a Jedi.
Oh, you're a Jedi! That's an option on the census these days. Do you have a practicing faith that goes along with your Jediism?
Only on Tuesdays.
You just using the Force on Tuesdays. The rest of the time you just fucking... Just imagining you just going like this and the bomb floating across the room into your hand. I can't see you, Greg, but I'm making some assumptions about your character. I hope I'm in the ballpark. In case the cameras pick you up, you're probably just sitting there in a business suit going, I've never tried drugs in my entire life. I'm merely on my way from Sydney to Brisbane for a business trip. I am insulted. Is that right, Greg, or are you just fucking punching cones like a weapon?
Don't judge me.
I'm not, mate, but given the amount of time you took to answer that, I'm going to say it was the latter. Now, Wendy! Yeah! Wendy, what did you tick for faith? You've had plenty of time to think about it now. Did you tick anything for faith or religious belief?
Yeah, I'm an atheist, mate.
You're an atheist? Oh, we've got some atheist fans in the house. Yeah, you just die! Just blackness and abyss! Never been here before, never coming back! So where do you think George Michael went?
In the ground, I believe.
Just in the ground? Yeah, nice one. Personally, Wendy, I believe that George Michael was abducted by aliens. They were very active in 2016, the year that George Michael died. Those musician abducting aliens. Fuck, they got some rippers that year. George Michael, David Bowie, Prince, Sharon Jones, Merle Haggard, fucking Leonard Cohen. It must have been some sort of alien university O-Week challenge. Scull a pint of hydrogen and bring back a popular musician from planet Earth. If you are a parent of young children, chances are you have already done or said the thing that will be the direct cause of your child's worst adult moment. And the best part is they won't even realise it's your fault. But you'll know. You'll be sitting there at the back of the courtroom, just shamefully watching the cross-examination. So tell us, again, in your own words, Zane, you took a shit in a mailbox and then punched a police horse? And your mum's at the back of the courtroom going, oh my God, it's because of that time I put curdled milk into his Fruit Loops and still made him eat them. It all makes sense now. Difficult being a parent. Don't envy that job. Do not envy it at all, you know? I mean, I grew up in a very loving home. Very loving parents. Never wanted for anything. Happy Pants, hypercoloured T-shirts, Ninja Turtles, Michael Bolton, etc. And yet it's very easy to blame your parents for your own dysfunction. Particularly if they're boomers. Oh my God! What's to be done with the boomers? Too many opinions, not enough computer literacy. They're all getting radicalised by Facebook. No more screen time for the boomers. Internet's a scary place for the best of us. They're all running around in their sensible polo shirts trying to figure it out. Get them out of there! I mean, I find it challenging. I'm sure we all do, you know? You wake up first thing in the morning and someone's like, oh, hey, what's your fully formed opinion on this incredibly complex social issue that you just learned about 5 minutes ago? Quick, type it into your phone so the rest of us can tell you to fuck off and die. The confidence of people on the internet is truly astonishing. Imagine the self-belief it takes to tell someone you've never met before that you hope they get fucked by a chainsaw. I mean, what a consequence-free life you must have led up until that point. The kid that jumped off the roof onto the trampoline and didn't break their arm. Oh my God, you're invincible. I bet one day you could be the Attorney General. I'm at a point where... Oh, get fucked, Sydney. Oh! I'm outraged at that asset. Why would she lie? Get fucked. We have to never forget that knowledge travels faster than the speed of self-righteousness. Like, your opinions are kind of worthless if they're unbendable over time, you know? You've got to be willing to change your opinions, learn new information, adapt, fucking keep step with the knowledge. You have to be more like the algorithms that absorb all of your online activity to the point where you just have to think about buying a yoga mat and one smashes through your kitchen window. And if you're unhappy, you know, just fucking change. If you have the means to change. If you don't have the means to change, that's a terrible situation. I feel awful for you, but you probably do. I mean, if you're here, you know, can afford to come and see this shit, you could probably change. Might be the hardest thing you've ever done. Might take ages. But please, for the love of God, if you're unhappy, fucking change. Because quite frankly, you being miserable is ruining it for the rest of us. Yelling at me in traffic because you married an arsehole, just end your marriage. You're killing the fucking vibe out here. Geez, I can't wait till we retire so we can hate each other in a camper van instead. I've always wanted to yell at you in a camper van. Travelling only broadens your horizons if you're open to having your horizons broadened. Otherwise, you're just the same dickhead in a different deck chair. You know, actually, it was my uncle that got me into comedy inadvertently. I've got this uncle. He's an amateur magician. And by that I mean he really wants to be a magician, but he's just fucking amateur! Just fucking awful! And he always does these Christmas shows for us. He does Christmas magic shows every Christmas. And when I say that, you're probably picturing like card tricks and rabbits out of hats. None of that. He's like an amateur escapologist, daredevil, illusionist kind of magician, just doing dangerous shit with no training and not a lot going on upstairs. One of my earliest childhood memories, right, he got up on top of the pergola, right, in a straitjacket, and he's going to jump off the pergola into the swimming pool and not surface until he got out of the straitjacket. None of us told him not to do it. So he's up there on the pergola, wrapped in his straitjacket, and he does this thing before he does any trick. He goes, 3, 2, 1, ready! It's like his little catchphrase. So he's up there and he goes, 3, 2, 1, ready! He takes a step back to run up into the pool and just went, wah! Straight through the pergola, impaled his shoulder on a star picket, tore all the ligaments in his ankle, and when he landed, he made such a loud noise it frightened the dog, and the dog bit him on the face. So Christmas was always awesome. And that year, he wouldn't let us take him to the hospital. He's like, I'll be fine. He just pulled himself off the star picket, cracked a stubby and went back to the barbecue, you know what I mean? But as a result, he fucked his shoulder so bad, he fucked all the nerves in his arm, and he's got no feeling in his left hand. He can still pick stuff up, but he can't feel things, and he always says horrible shit like, yeah, Randy, I don't even need the missus anymore. I just close my eyes and think of Mariah Carey. Yeah, the man's a fucking unit. So, this one Christmas, this is how I got into comedy, this one Christmas, someone from his local RSL club had given him a little Pee-wee 100 motorbike, like a little children's motorbike. I'm not sure why, maybe they wanted him dead. But anyway, he turned up to Christmas. Right, with this little Pee-wee 100 motorbike, and he built a ramp in his ute. He built a ramp that folded out of the tray of his ute and then up over the cab of his little truck. And he had this idea that he was going to drive his little ute around to school fetes and county fairs and stuff and do jumps on his little motorbike in his ute ramp. Again, none of us told him not to do it. So he turned up with this thing and he set it up across the road, and we were having Christmas at my family's house in the country in central Victoria. There's heaps of paddocks around. We're in the middle of nowhere, so he loves having Christmas there because he can do dangerous shit in the paddocks, right? And really spread out. So he built the obstacle course, and he's across the road all morning setting this up. And we're in the house and we hear 3, 2, 1, ready! So we go across the road and there he is. Picture this, he's a massive dude, huge guy, strawberry blonde mullet, big blonde handlebar mustache with a nicotine stain in the middle, like he's been eating an ass, and he just sits there, right? He's huge on this tiny motorbike. He's like, here we go! And he took off and he was like weaving through the cones, popping little monos. He did about 25 minutes as a warm-up. We're like, actually, this is pretty entertaining. And he gets to the end of his warm-up, he parks the bike about maybe 20 metres from where he's going to start his run up to his big jump, and he added a little bit of showbiz flair here. I'll never forget it. He got off the bike and he pretended that the motorbike was too heavy for him to push. Massive dude, tiny motorbike. He just goes, it's too heavy, kids, I can't push it. We're like, yay! 5 stars! You're a comedic genius. He's like, and then he just went, oh, bugger it. Picked the motorbike up, put it under his arm, and marched back to the start line. Like a fucking legend. So he gets to the start line, he goes to put the motorbike down, but he can't. Because when he picked it up, he inadvertently put his left hand on the exhaust pipe. He's got no feeling in his left hand. The exhaust pipe's very hot. By the time he made it back to the start line, his left hand had fused to the exhaust pipe, melted to the motorbike. He's like, oh, I can't put it down. We're all like, the smell of burning flesh. All the adults are pouring beer on it. He's like, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. We're like, but it's fucked. That year, he let us take him to the hospital. You have a motorbike attached to your hand, get in the fucking car. But because we were having Christmas at my house in the country, everybody was shit-faced because everybody was staying over. Everyone was camping, so nobody could drive him. Except for me, I'd been on my learner's permit for 1 week. 2-hour drive to the hospital. I'm just like white-knuckling it the whole way. My dad, shit-faced in the passenger seat, just supervising me. Yeah, he's doing a great job. My uncle on the back seat, motorbike on his lap. His left hand fused to the exhaust pipe and then just sculling a long neck with his right hand. And that is not what got me into comedy, but that is definitely what got me into drinking. I'm like, that is tough as fuck. Yes! So it's Christmas night in emergency. So there's chaos. There's people impaled on Christmas trees and kids that have eaten Christmas baubles and shit. And so it's crazy, but he walks through the doors carrying a motorbike and the entire room went silent. I've never seen anything like it. All these people just went... He marches up to the counter, slams the motorbike down in front of the triage nurse and just goes, I've done a mischief! They took him into surgery. He was in there for 6 hours. I had to sit in the waiting room and wait for him the whole time. And while I was there was an episode of Seinfeld on the television. I was like, I want to do that. And here I am. Thank you, Uncle.